Max Kellerman, you mentioned what some of us might call the big three in pound for pound. Pacquiao, Mayweather, Sergio Martinez. Make it four, add Nonito Donaire. All of them have had significantly more fights than Gamboa.
They have. There's something about those guys, too. You can watch them fighting even tricky southpaws, as Martinez did against in Zurich. And they leave you breathless. You know, every round after round, you're just amazed by what you're seeing. And Gamboa can do that, but he does it in spots. He doesn't consistently leave you that way. But as you mentioned, they're a little farther along in their pro careers than him.
Hard right hand by Gamboa momentarily wobbled Ponce de Leon. Ponce de Leon walked into it. This is the kind of fighter he is. If you hurt him, he wants to come back and hurt you right now.
I think more than get hurt is just his bad balance. That was when he was throwing one of those looping punches and was off balance and got hit. But I don't think he was ever seriously hurt at all.
And that may be the point he's trying to make.
And Gamboa, for a pretty slick guy, does like to mix it up. His instinct is to exchange. And it sometimes cost him, like you just seen.
As you said, Max, Gamboa fights in spurts. He shows greatness in spots and then he takes off. But he had over 300-some amateur fights and a phenomenal amateur background.
And maybe that's why, Emmanuel, maybe too many amateur fights in that
they get
terrible
the
amateur
and
style.
They get a hit on the point and they take off. They'll say, well, you know, you're up 8-2. So they'll just take off and rest for a while and run to keep the points up.
And Gamboa's natural temperament, I think, is of a professional fighter. But if you have 300 fights under a certain system, it can leave an impact, an imprint on the way you fight.
But I tell you what, Ponce de Leon has got his attention tonight. I can tell you that. He's taking the best shots from Gamboa, and he's coming right back and actually landing a lot of clean blows right now at this time.
Well, anyone who doesn't respect Daniel Ponce de Leon is going to get his teeth rattled. He comes to bring everything he's got. And there's Harold's point. The looping punch from Ponce de Leon did some damage to Gamboa, but not as much damage as did Gamboa's straight, sharp right hand on the chin. Perfect illustration of what Harold Letterman told you before.
Ponce has his respect to the point, though, where Gamboa throws one crisp right hand and then gets out of there rather than follow up with a combination.
Good body shot by Ponce de Leon. Of 29. Ponce de Leon landed 15 of 35.
Over that corner, over that corner. Hey, give me a cloth, give me a cloth. Give me a towel. Give me a towel. Yes, over that corner right there.
Both fighters are in the fight, but if one fighter wins every round by small margins, he's got a shutout.
And I don't really care how many they throw, it's how many they land. They land the same number of punches. I agree with Harold, though, Gamboa's are more effective.
Well, and I mean, we saw that illustration in the middle of the last round. It was a perfect comparison. As Ponce de Leon landed what he wanted to land. It just wasn't that as effective a punch as what Gamboa brought back. Max, as we watch Yuriorkis Gamboa and Daniel Ponce de Leon midway through the 6th round of their fight, you recently did the sit-down face-off with Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez. How was that?
And Freddie Roach and Nacho Beristain in front of a giant TV screen showing highlights of their first 2 fights.
Tremendous.
Very interesting, especially when they got up and agreed to be posed in certain positions at key moments, and their trainers came and repositioned them where they would rather their fighters have been.
Marquez has been saying, Manny knows I beat him twice.
Well,
Manny may not feel exactly that way.
In terms of rounds, I think he did win more rounds, take the knockdowns out of the equation. But when you put the knockdowns in, definitely not. They had 4 knockdowns.
That's what won the fight for Pacquiao.
That's what won the fights, yeah. That's what won, got those.
That's what won the second fight. The first one was a draw. Good quick left hook inside by Gamboa. Ponce de Leon landed his own left hand.
Gamboa is starting to really feel himself in this round. Not only prancing around after hitting de Leon, but then following up with some quick combination to show him, well, I'm able to hit you when I want.
Even though Gamboa's with it, I think he's developing still a respect for Ponce de Leon as his fight's going on. Ponce de Leon seemed to be pushing him harder than any fight that I've saw him in as a professional fighter.
Absolutely. Ponce de Leon is competing with him every minute of the fight.
And I'm looking at the eyes and the facial expression and reading the vibes from Ponce de Leon. A very determined man. And there's no fear at all, either that much respect for Gamboa.
But it's hard to dent the confidence of Yuriorkis Gamboa. Gamboa is very businesslike in his approach here.
But Gamboa has not proven to Ponce de Leon that he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to do it, as he's proven to many fighters.
Yes, that's the truth. That's the difference here.
Well, that was interesting. Gamboa backed out of an exchange. How many times has that happened? Hard right hand by Gamboa. Found the target from a long distance away. Held how to have it through 6.
Well, Jim, I still have Yuriorkis Gamboa winning this fight. 6-0, 60-54. Yuriorkis Gamboa basically on his power. I mean, you know, the guy just keeps landing the hardest shots from the outside. He's a very good ring general. You know, his distance is perfect. He just keeps the fight far enough so that Ponce de Leon has to use that herky-jerky style, you know, and wave at Gamboa in order to hit him. He's got to get inside to hit Gamboa. Gamboa's real good at keeping distance. He does that very well. Round 6, Gamboa did a couple of different things. He went southpaw. He used that, you know, his arms across the chest defense. So, you know, he knows what he's doing in there. Very, very smart fighter. 6-0 Gamboa.
The timing of when a fighter beats an opponent is significant in terms of evaluating the quality of the win. Ponce de Leon now, I believe, is a much better fighter than he was several years ago. And at least on Harold's card, here's Gamboa in a less than spectacular performance, winning every round against a fighter who was once quality and whose quality has gotten better in recent years.
Well, a fighter who has held a world title for whatever that might be worth at any given moment. And some of them are completely worthless. Some of them do mean something.
And I think he's better now than he was then.
I agree.
You know, he's got two very crafty, fast fighters back-to-back right now that he's fighting Gamboa.
And Gamboa's doing better than Broner did.
Broner, that's what I'm saying, and he's doing very well considering that he's such a slow fighter for a small weight division.
I mentioned earlier that Ponce de Leon is a product of an extremely reclusive Indian tribe in Mexico called the Tarahumara. There was a terrific book about them published here in the United States last year. Tarahumara Indians have been known to run 200, 300 miles barefoot in foot races. They drink a corn beer concoction by the barrel, achieving levels of blind drunkenness that would be the envy of any Skid Row drunk. And yet they go out and work the next day. They have an unusual culture all their own. Most noteworthy, Ponce de Leon has now lived in East Los Angeles and almost all Mexican community for 9 years and says that he has never once run into another member of his tribe. That's astonishing.
You've seen Gamboa switch up to southpaw a couple times this round. There he does it again.
Yeah, he feels so comfortable. He feels he can do what he wants. He has that much control with his talent in this fight.
If that's the case, Emmanuel, I think he should increase the offensive output.
I agree with you.
That will be fun.
A lot of fun.
Let's go. Combi box numbers in the 7th round. Gamboa starting to put a little more distance between himself and De Leon. Gamboa landing 21 punches in that round out of 51. Ponce de Leon 11 out of 49. Harold Letterman still scoring a shutout for Gamboa, but it's not a lopsided shutout. It's a shutout in which every round has been interesting.
Okay, let's go. All right? Good. Touch him up.
It's because Gamboa's pitching a shutout. but on offense, he's hitting singles and an occasional double, and he's capable of hitting home runs. He mentioned to us also yesterday in the fighter meeting, Gamboa did, that hearing criticism in the American press has motivated him to put together the complete package, as he did in the Solis fight, where we saw an emerging super fighter. He's certainly in control here. He's a superb fighter, but this is not the kind of performance that makes you start thinking about Martinez and Donaire and Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Round 8 of a scheduled 12 in Atlantic City. Yuriorkis Gamboa of Cuba and the United States in the blue, red, and white trunks against Daniel Ponce de Leon of Mexico in the silver trunks. Gamboa trying to cement his status as the #1 featherweight in the world, and so far doing it against a spirited, competitive opponent, Ponce de Leon. And now their heads come together and clash, and there's blood above the left eye of Ponce de Leon.
Accidental headbutt. Check him out, Doc. Accidental headbutt.
Let's take a look at the headbutt. Bang. Conventional fighter against a southpaw. Both guys trying to be offensively aggressive at times. It's the kind of thing which was bound to happen.
By way of technical unanimous decision, Yuriorkis, el Ciclón de Guantanamo, Gamboa.